Hi, I'm Luke McIntosh, creator of BecomeABassist.com, and in this lesson you're going to be building on what we did in the last lesson and adding extra notes to that single note drone. So last lesson we talked about matching frequencies with a drone, and that was super important. And this lesson we're going to build on top of that by playing another note against that low drone, and it's going to be a perfect fifth. Now we're using perfect fifths because as bass players we're going to be playing fifths a lot. Think of kind of any old school country song, bluegrass song, salsa song. They all rely heavily on the 1 and the 5. So that's why we'll be focusing on the 5s in this lesson. So we're going to be using the same drone as last lesson, so we're going to be using that C. And so what's the fifth of C? Now just in case you don't know, it's a G. Right there. Or we can play it there. Now this interval here is the limit of what we can do as bass players right here. So it makes sense for us to practice this interval so we can get all our positions right in tune. So if we put our drone on again, now let's play the C with the index finger, and then we're going to play the G with the 3rd and 4th fingers up here. Just like that. Now you're looking for the same kind of thing as you are when you have just a single note drone against each other. You're looking for kind of minimizing of any wavering you might feel. And of course if you have a bow, you can use that as well. It's going to be super helpful for you. Get used to hearing that 5 over that 1, G being the 5 and C being the 1. Now if you want to just kind of get used to how the 5 sounds, just play your open G string. And as long as that open G is in tune, you'll know exactly how it's supposed to sound. Just like that. So try as much as you can to get that interval in tune. Or with the bow. Play them together if you like. It's very kind of thunderous a little bit, but it's good, it's good. Now it can be really tempting to want to play a lot of things and lots of notes over this low drone and do all that kind of stuff. But try and think of it more as a kind of bass meditation. So you're not kind of going for lots of fancy stuff, you're just trying to get both notes in tune, both with each other and with the drone. So if we put our drone back on, just aim for the C, get that perfectly in tune, and then add the 5, add the G. Now see, that one's a little bit flat, so I need to kind of expand my hand a little bit. There we go, that's much better. Can actually be quite relaxing. Now try and find the place. We talked about last lesson how you can use the elbow to manipulate your intonation. Try and find the place where you don't have to manipulate your elbow at all, where you can stay in one position and both notes are in tune, both with each other and with the drone. That's how you know you go to that position, build the muscular memory so you know that every time you're in that position that your notes are going to be in tune. Then you can test yourself. So put your drone back on, take your hand away, shake it out, reset it, and go back to your C, and then, that was good. Okay, now take your hand away again, reset it, reset your hand. That one's a tiny little bit flat, so I'll go away again, reset my hand. That was good. So always be testing yourself and checking yourself against your, first of all, your drone and also yourself as well. Now when you're going through this process, try as much as you can to avoid playing with vibrato. it can be really tempting to want to kind of pretty up your notes, especially when you're only playing 1 or 2 notes. But really try and avoid this. When you play with vibrato, for example, when you do this, you're kind of changing the core fundamental note that you want to be working on. Now, of course, when it comes to performing, by all means, vibrato is back on the table. Use them as much as you like. But when we're practicing this stuff and really trying to focus our intonation, you really want to focus on the core fundamental note. Now, the other not-so-secret weapon in your arsenal is actually your voice. Your voice can be very, very useful in your intonation. So try this. Try playing that low C, and then without playing the high G, the G above that, try singing it out loud. So, you don't have to have a great voice. I don't have a great voice. And then check yourself against. Okay, so that was pretty good. And then do the reverse. Play the G. Actually, probably play your open G because you know it'll be in tune. And then sing your C. So. Just like that. Now remember, if you can't hear it in tune, you're going to have a much lower chance of being able to play it in tune. So your voice and your ears are your biggest assets when it comes to intonation. Now this whole process is going to configure your hand so that you play in tune whenever you're in this position. But that shouldn't stop you from just playing in this one position. You have all the single note drones from the last lesson. They're also available for download underneath this lesson. So go ahead and use all the other single note drones as well and play the fifths against them. So against the low E, play a B, against the low F, play a C, F sharp, C sharp, or G flat and D flat, however you want to think about it. And it goes up all the way to E flat and B flat. So really spend some time with these and get used to, first of all, hearing the 5 against the 1 and then playing the 5 against the 1. You have all the tools now to start making these kind of small steps. So to review, you played other notes against that single note drone. This time we played the 5 against the 1, and we learned that we play 5s and 1s a lot as bass players, so it makes sense to practice and hear that interval really well. You also learned that your voice was actually a huge asset to you in the kind of war against bad intonation, as well as of course your ears are going to be very important, but your voice as well. So you played the low note and sang the high note, and then went back to the low note, just like that. Like I said, don't have to have a great voice, but it's super helpful if you can sing along at least a little bit and try and play pitches before you go. Sing pitches before you go to play them. Now in the next lesson you'll be learning a new exercise that will configure your hand as you go higher and higher up your neck, because as you know, the notes get closer and closer together the higher you get up. Thank you so much for watching, I really do appreciate it. I'm Luke McIntosh, creator of BecomeABassist.com, and I will see you in the very next lesson.